The milestone that we're working on today for your 4 to 6 month old is sitting with support. And the activity that we are going to talk about to help point us in that direction is side sitting. And so just like with side propping, we are gonna start with baby lying on their back and moving into side lying, because all this movement that we're talking about, this sitting with support and coming to sit, everything needs to move through that side lying position first. So baby is going to be lying on their back, and we're going to help facilitate that rotation over to side lying by that bent leg help. So we're going to help bend that leg there and bring it over the body, and baby's arms are going to follow, all the while really interested in whatever toy they have over here that they just love to see and play with. Again, if you have a mirror here, that's absolutely a wonderful idea. You can even use your toy to kind of draw baby's attention to it by banging on a little bit, or grab another softer toy and bang on it, so you know, no casualties there. Anyway, so baby's lying on their side here. I'm gonna use that downward and towards the feet sort of input and pressure to help baby come up on that propped arm. If baby gets tired there, you can slide that bolster underneath that armpit, making sure that they are continuing to get that pressure into the elbow for that side prop. But as your baby is working on coming to side sit, it's not as much of a problem for this to be a larger surface area, because you want baby to come up and have a little bit more space between their armpit area and the floor. So you could use this one because this one's a little bit larger, and you want that extended arm here with baby weight bearing on that, that open hand. Now, this is a great position here. So baby can get that weight bearing into the hand, and they're kind of side sitting here. Their legs are kind of stacked, or they might be, one might be in front, or they might be ring sitting a little bit here. But the eventual goal after the side propping, the side sitting that they're doing here, is coming all the way up, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So different options for what you're using underneath their arm here to help get that side prop. You can use a larger bolster, and baby can sometimes have a lot of fun kind of playing in this position where they're kind of rolling back and forth, practicing coming weight bearing into that wrist and hand, coming back and forth. And again, you just don't want your foam roller to be so big that they can't get that hand down on the floor. You don't want them to be kind of hanging out in outer space here, because that completely defeats the purpose of the activity. Again, these legs are kind of stacked here to their side. Maybe one is extended out, maybe the bottom one or the top one. It just depends on your baby's preference and what's feeling good to them at that moment. You can place their toy so that they don't kind of launch over your bolster here, or your foam roller. You can place your toy kind of in this little tiny space here, this little alcove that they have here, so that they can kind of play with their toy right here. You can even put a mirror down on the floor here with a toy on top of it, because that provides a really interesting thing for them to look at too. All the while, what you're working on is this kind of dynamic position of, oh, I can put my hand down or I can lift it up. I can put my hand down or I can lift it up. And what you're doing is you're building all those muscles in the neck, the shoulder, the hips, the abdominals. You're continuing to strengthen the joints and the hips and the shoulder, the wrist, the elbow, and the hand, all the while continuing to work on eye-hand coordination in this position. So that is coming from side lying or on their back all the way up to side prop. Or excuse me, side sit. So coming up to side sit. The milestone that we're working on today is sitting with support for your 4 to 6 month old. And the activity that we are working on to help us point in that direction is side sitting. Now in this video, we talked about how to help baby move from lying on their back to lying on their side to propping up on their elbow to then propping up onto their extended elbow onto the palm of their hand. We talked about how important it is for baby to maintain this position because of all the important muscles that are developed in the palm of their hand, their shoulder, their trunk, and how that helps with head and neck control, and just all that stability that's being formed so that they can be more mobile. So what I would like for you to do, your call to action, my friend, is to give this activity a try. Now I want you to pay close attention to the different kinds of foam rollers that you might have on hand, and make sure that your little one, that their hip and their elbow or wrist and hand are contacting the floor. And so if your bolster or your foam roller is too big, you need to change it. You need to change that aspect of the environment to get the response that you want. The response that you want is a little one who has their legs stacked there, they're extended, their elbow is extended, they're weight bearing on the palm of their hand, they're weight bearing on their hip down here, and they're playing with their toy in this little area they have here. And just as a note of safety, you can always stay behind them or provide a whole lot of cushions around their little body back here just to keep them safe while they're working on that skill. All right, friends, so that's your call to action, is to practice this and then change some of those items that you see, present different ideas or different toys for them to play with. Make sure you try both sides, and then have a look at your playbook and reflect on how baby's doing in there.